Some foul-mouthed parrots at a British zoo are in big trouble for swearing at guests.
In 2020, 5 African grey parrots made headlines around the world for their linguistic antics.
They were donated to the Lincolnshire Wildlife Park within the same week. Well, the birds had to be quarantined together. You know how parrots are. They start talking, and soon they were cussing at each other. Then they put them on display, and they cussed at the visitors, who then started swearing back at the parrots.
But I wonder, were the parrots really speaking or just mimicking? Isn't language what makes us special and superior to animals? Linguists have long argued that language is, quote, uniquely human. But others disagree.
There's a lot of sense-making.
Rivka Galchen is the author of a New Yorker article titled How Scientists Started to Decode Birdsong.
It's about the language of birds and about whether language is the right word for what they're doing.
Galchen writes that researchers are finding the notes that birds sing, for example, often serve specific functions. Those were 2 unique songs that superb fairy wren mums in Australia sing to their eggs.
When the eggs hatch, when they become nestlings, they use a note, almost like a code, that came from their mother's call while she was sitting on the nest.
The chicks' password notes ensure that their mum will feed them and not the cuckoo hatchlings whose mothers ditched them. But birds like superb fairy wrens can't yet be said to communicate like humans.
Almost no one I spoke to has this sense that we're kind of going to put it into Google Translate and find out, what they're saying or what they're gossiping about.
That's because animal communications have evolved in the context of their specific environments.
It would be a mistake to think that animals necessarily talk like we do.
Arik Kirschenbaum, a zoologist at Cambridge University, is the author of a new book titled Why Animals Talk. He himself recently gave a public talk organized by a group called Interspecies Internet.
They've been through a set of evolutionary pressures. They have adaptations that suit them in the niche that they occupy. We've been through our evolutionary pressures, and we have behaviors that suit the niche that we occupy.
Humans share similar social traits with other animals like birds, elephants, wolves, and cetaceans like whales and dolphins. The evidence suggests that our communications arose out of our need to coordinate, says Kirschenbaum.
What is driving complex communication is social intelligence.
These humpback whales are creating a bubble net to catch herring. Humpbacks are usually solitary creatures, but they come together to coordinate these hunts in Alaska. UC Santa Cruz professor Ari Friedlander leads teams that study whales' foraging behaviors.
It's very clear that there are certain calls that these animals use repetitively and in different types of situations. There's a dialogue back and forth of information being shared, and that it's for very functional purposes like for foraging, in a group.
Friedlander is one of many scientists working with the AI community to correlate behavior and sound attributes like tones and notes. It's a huge amount of information. Other animals use more than sound to communicate. For example, bees dance. And elephants secrete chemicals and use their senses of touch and sight as well. Some researchers also point out that animal communications are as much about emotional states as information. So it's likely as fruitless to try and translate their sounds into human words as it would be to try and translate a piece of orchestral music.
It even seems silly to say who's smarter or less smart. They're just like such radically different kinds of intelligences.
Again, the New Yorker's Rivka Galchen.
It kind of reminds me of the way that people are about children in schooling, that you both want to instill in your child this sense that you're really special, you're different from everyone else.
But at the same time,
you're not special, you shouldn't expect to be treated differently,
For Philosophy Talk, I'm Sarah Lai Sterland.